Hi, welcome to my garage this time for our podcast. In this podcast, what we're going to be doing is creating a continuous light system. I wanted to take some basic off-the-shelf equipment that you can get from Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and create an inexpensive solution that'll give you continuous lighting that's not hot and is quiet. All right, so thank you very much, and let's begin. Okay, so here you can see we've got the basic components together. I've got the 4 light receptacles, and within the light receptacles I've got, I don't like to overload the wire caps, so I just went ahead and wired 2 together with one wire sticking out. So I got the whites to whites, blacks to blacks, and I've got the same thing on the other side. I'm going to be running a wire through the bottom here, then this will connect to my switch box. And the wire coming in from that switch box will be connected to these. All right, so essentially we've got the holder for the lights for this, but it's just basic. There's nothing supporting it on the background, on the back side. So what I'd like to do is have a dome around it to kind of direct the light, and B, give it a little protection, because if for whatever reason this thing falls over, it's 4 exposed bulbs and I got glass, mercury, whatever floating around. So I want to give it a little protection. In that regard, what I was able to do is find essentially just a white bucket. This thing was $7 at Target, and I'm not going to use the whole thing, but essentially what I'm going to do is cut it and make it a little shallower, just enough to recess the lights, protect the lights. So we're going to have it in the back here like that, center as close as possible. But the plastic itself is not going to be strong enough to hold the lights. So that is where I'm going to take some wood on the back and make a crossbar. Once I cut it, I also imagine that it's going to get a little flexible in there. So me being me, my engineering style, I'm going to put some piece of support wood across the front. And when I do that, I want to extend it out just a little bit. And then I have this idea of putting some maybe some barn doors on it. So it gives me some options for having something to attach to direct the light a little. Like anything, it's a learning experience. One thing I discovered while cutting with the jigsaw, I thought it'd be a lot easier just to cut it around. It's very, very flimsy now. So you get the jigsaw going, it just starts reciprocating with the saw. So it ended up better just to go ahead and cut it with the old trusty blade. Plastic's pretty straight, pretty easy to cut, and so you can see this will fit nicely on the inside. I said 9 inches, but I definitely want to give it a little bit more room just to be on the safe side. Alright, so now as you can see, it's very flimsy. So I want to do two things. The first thing I want to do is put a support on the bottom, because I know once I start poking at this and drilling at it, that's just going to split wide open. So I'm going to get a piece of wood, I'm going to cut it to length here, and then I'm going to run two pieces of wood along the side here to give it that support, and then have those together. All right, on to the next step. So we have our basic frame here, and now imagine that the bucket is going to go right here. The lights are going to mount onto this cross beam. That gives them a lot of stability. We're not depending on the bucket itself for support. The next thing we need to do is figure out how we're going to get power to the light box from the source, and how we're going to be able to control that power. So it just so happens that I cut this a little bit long. As I was measuring, I decided to go ahead and give a few extra inches, and it gave me enough room that I can mount a metal box, switch box here. So essentially what I'm going to do is have our basic single pole throw in here. This is going to go down to the power source, so we're going to be able to plug it directly in from there. And across the top, I'll move this around just a little bit. So from the top, I'm going to extend this out, and I'm going to have the power coming out the side here, and it's going to run along the base, and I'm able to secure it down on there. And it's going to penetrate the bucket and then go straight into the box here. So should be pretty straightforward. All right, on to the next part. Alright, so as you've seen, I've pretty much dry fit everything. I've got the insides all put together. I've got my switch on the outside. It's coming through the bottom kind of nicely there. Alright, so what I want to do is quickly just show you how I did this. So I've got my whites connected and my blacks connected, and then I have my ground. I've lost the nut, the grounding nut that goes on here. I had one, but it was the wrong size. So when I put the cap on, I'm gonna do it to the screw right there, which is probably not the best thing, but hey, it's better than nothing. It's the ground wire. So I've got the switch coming in through here. So what I wanna do now is essentially just do a quick continuity check and make sure that everything is copacetic before I put it down. And so you can probably hear that. So the wire. So I've got one coming in here. Not sure which is which. All right, so that's a good test. It's not arcing over to the other side, shorting to the other side, and it's not grounded. All right. So we're not grounded there. And let's come inside here. All right, so that is our black lead. All right, that's on. And that's off, yay. Looks good. All right, coming inside the bucket, we've got the switch on. So we're gonna come inside the bulbs. Yeah. Good. 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 Touching the rim is not making a connection. And switch to the other side. Good. Now the other side is straight through. It's not switched. Only switch the black side. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we have our setup. Looks pretty good. I've got it plugged in on a circuit, of course, that protected circuit. So as you probably saw as I was putting it together, you need to go through and dry fit a lot. I was having a little difficulty with some of the connections on the inside here. One thing I noticed, I put that on backwards, so that's still a little loose and I can't get to it easily, but I'm gonna live with that for a while because I have to take the whole box off in order to fix it. But screwed the light bulbs in, got this grounded. I went through and did all the testing, making sure that nothing shorted out. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! Oh yeah. As you can see, these things would take a minute to warm up, but kind of shine it down. Yeah, you can see it makes for a nice little light there. I think these lights being fluorescent lights, I can probably go with a higher power light. They're not going to draw a lot of current. That's the great thing about them, and we'll see how hot they get as we go forth. Working the design, one thing I probably could have done, I could have probably put a 5th light here, but I'll stick with 4 and just up the wattage. So then the next build I do will probably be a little bigger. Alrighty, so that leaves us with essentially how do we mount the thing. So I'm going to, here we go. So I gotta figure out how to make it so that I can put that onto a tripod. So, all right, I will be working on that next. So essentially we've got it all put together. It's tested. I've burned it in a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of heat, but nothing melting yet, and that was after about 30 minutes of running. So we're good there. The next thing that we need to do is figure out how to attach this to a tripod. So essentially, I definitely want to keep this under, as low cost as possible. I could go fashion a, I was thinking about some sort of sleeve that fed over here, some PVC pipe. And I just want to have but the problem is it would swing, it wouldn't be able to lock down. So, as a low-cost solution, if you're a photographer, you have one of these. You should. If you don't, it's just a standard clamp. So instead of devising a way to fix this onto a tripod with a custom attachment, what I'm going to do is essentially just make it so I can put a cleat on here, tighten up, and then slide the tripod in there. That'll give me the control I need. I can control the angle, I can control the height, I'll be able to attach in different ways. I'll see if I can make it so I can connect into 2 different directions. But that should give me the leverage, the flexibility that I need. And it's a low-cost solution. It's just a block of wood there holding it in. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So essentially what we've done here is made a two-way clamp. So my tripod that sticks into this right there, it can hold the rig. I can either hold it like this if it's convenient to hold it like that, or flip it around. I can hold it like this. Okay, and what I did was applied some glue to the bottom of this, and by adding this cross beam, I added a little extra support for both directions. I've screwed in the top here, straight into that block, and everything, of course, screws into here, and got a one that comes in from the side there. All right, so I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have a light. So that pretty much concludes for today's build. We've got it set up here, it's clamped on, looking good. Just find some power, plug it in, flip it on, and we have some wonderful light. So finally I've decided to bring the light up to the studio to give it a real world test. I'm using it right now, so I'm not going to bring it around to show you. A couple of things I did find out. It takes about 2-3 minutes for the lights to warm up fully, get to the full brightness. The heat, I've had this running for a couple of hours now, so the heat is minimal, though you can drill some holes into the side and give some escape routes for the lights. The other thing that I found is you'll need some sort of diffuser over the cover. I have you can use just regular cloth. I've taken this off one of my soft boxes, so you can use that and just drape it over. If you really want to go cheap, you can use tracing paper. I've got a nice little 17 by 22 pad of paper that I picked up at the art supply store. Couple of sheets of that, and that's in fact what I'm using right now. You can also, since it's circular, you can use an umbrella. You can just drill a hole in the back through the wood and place an umbrella through that. So I think essentially what I'm going to do is make one more of these, so I have 2 continuous lights. But overall, I think the project's been quite successful. If you've enjoyed this video, I would definitely appreciate some comment. If you have any recommendations on better ways of doing it, definitely let me know. And thank you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Honey, where's my white bucket?